Garden Grove, California, in that shocking pink shirt. You'll enjoy the way that man bowls. And, of course, Don Genalo, style of his own, very composed, very much with it.
Genalo is going to be very tough this game. He's loosened up. He's ready to go.
And getting the pin action that he wants. So he, quite a greeting to Mark Baker now.
What we call a low rotation or low reaction bowling ball by Genalo. He keeps it in play very much like the great Earl Anthony.
And Mark Baker. Watch his face from time to time as he's great to watch.
Mark Baker, that five-step delivery, that powerful delivery. It's completely different from the delivery of Genalo. He drives down with that powerful body, bends that elbow, gets that wrist under the ball, just palms the ball as he lets it go. Great extension knee bend. When Baker bowls like that, he's tough. Just eats the pins up with that power ball.
And a high hit producing the 3, 6, 7, 10. And at the line, he was using body English long after the hit, hoping.
A spare very similar to what Albee had to do. He had to get the ball over here in the 3-6 zone, does Baker. Slide the 3-pin over into the 7. Taking a look at the approach, he'll go across lane and throw it very hard.
Too thin on the 3, and it's an open frame for the Californian, Mark Baker, who had to re-qualify, was 22nd here in '84, and then won the King Louis Open this year to get back into the field.
Plays that across lane shot. Watch his eyes. He likes that reaction. Just nips the 3-pin a little too much. Doesn't quite convert it. He's opened the door for Genalo real early in the match.
Come on, ball.
About the 4th 10-pin on the right lane for Genalo. If you just joined us, we're in the Firestone Tournament of Champions. $50,000 to the winner. Genalo defeating Mike Albee in the first game, 224 to 210. Winner of this match will meet Del Warren, and then the tournament leader, Marshall Holman.
Right now, the way this match sets up, Mark Baker coming out, throwing the first ball and getting a good break on the right-hand lane for a strike, then going high for a split on the left-hand lane. Genalo solid in the second frame, left a 10-pin. What Baker needs is Genalo to falter a little bit here in the first couple of frames to keep him in the match, let him get tuned into the championship pair, or this could be a runaway.
Come on, ball.
And again.
Frustration can sometimes set in. Genalo throws a good shot in the first. Looked like a good shot in the second. Here's a solid 10. Third frame, here we come again. He likes it. He's talking to it. Bingo, another 10-pin. Conversion here, he'll be trailing. He'll be leading by 11.
Mark is 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighs 195 pounds. Week average, a little over 219. After an open frame, now the 3rd frame. The wrath of the right lane again.
Powerful Mark Baker has an excellent push away. Keeps his arms swinging tight. Now watch how these crankers get that ball in the proper position. He's got his elbow locked. Now see him bend it, then cup his wrist underneath the ball, point just inside the second arrow, and he leaves the 10.
Mark took a couple of weeks off and then bowled last week in Windsor Locks. Finished really down the list, about 129th. But he finished 3rd here. He's capable of almost anything.
Tremendous strike player, Chris. You're absolutely correct. You cannot have too big a lead on Mark Baker, although his television average and the number of appearances he has is a bit suspect with just a 201 average in 23 games.
Last year, he finished second 4 times, but was the high average leader of them all on the PBA Tour. A pause, and then we'll be back. Here is Marshall Holman, the tournament leader, just waiting over there. He won in 1976, hopes to repeat 10 years later. That's today.
Probably the most exciting man, Chris, that in professional bowling. They love to hate him sometimes, but he is the guy to watch. Now, here's a guy who just zeroed on the pocket. Strike in the first, solid 10, the second, third frames. He has an 11-pin lead, fourth frame.
Oh.
High hit leaving the 4-7.
Something you don't see of Genalo's ball, driving the 2-pin right over the top of the 4 and 7 pins. You saw it go around on the left-hand side of the 4-7. Simple spare for an excellent spare shooter, Don Genalo, to maintain a 9-pin lead.
Nelson, I know where you'll be next Saturday. You'll be watching the Kentucky Derby along with all of us, and the 3-year-olds have their last chance in the Derby trial today at Churchill Downs. But here are the money leaders, and Walter Ray Williams, who finished 11th, 87 grand.
And some of the other top players, you see Baker right there could get to 100,000 with a win today. Janelle could take over the money lead. Albee could get, well, he's already got his 5,000, 10,000. So here we go.
Don Genalo liked that, of course. Gave him that strike in the 5th frame. Re-rack here on the right lane.
Boy, the tender touch. Don Genalo, he has enough power to tip out the 4, 5, and 7 pins, and yet not too much that when he goes high, he cuts through the middle. Baker to take the lead, 5th frame.
And on the right side again.
This is actually a tough lane condition for the style of Mark Baker. Very simply, when Mark throws it very wide to get a tremendous angle on the pocket, it doesn't come all the way back and hit solid in the pocket. When he points it up a little bit, it hooks high. So Baker's struggling a bit. He needs to use all that power and speed to stay in the match.
All right, Mark Baker of Garden Grove, California. We asked him earlier if he feels any extra pressure in the Firestone. Here's what he said.
The only extra pressure you put on yourself. The money is big, and I want to win. I've always wanted to bowl Marshall on TV. Hopefully today I get my chance.
The youngest and biggest in the field, and what a future.
And he got a telephone call just before airtime from a good friend of mine and a man who finished second in this Firestone, Barry Asher, said, bring home the trophy to California.
Up next, the man from Long Island originally, now living in Perrysburg, Ohio. As you see, Baker's last strike again. Don Genalo.
Uh-oh. Safe. That was close.
I guess it was.
Just went in for a little bit worse.
Well, he's due to get a good break. He's had so many balls in the pocket and left 10 pins. Now, that time, he just did not get down on that pivot step. He was very high in his approach all the way through, and that's what happens. You pull ball left to your target. That's why we always say stay down as you drive through at the line.
Well, that little basketball shot. He is playing an ex-high school basketball player in Mark Baker. A lot of promise as a high school star.
Genalo, fingertip grip, urethane bowling ball. Has a 9-pin lead, 7th frame.
Come on, baby.
Talk about exasperation.
Well, he thinks he has a strike here. He thinks his ball is going to set up solid in the pocket. As you see the line that Don Genalo is playing, somewhere just right around the 2nd arrow. And on almost every lane at Riviera, the ball will set up. But watch it take a little jump, 4-pin.
Okay, we're in our second match. This man, Don Genalo, defeated Mike Albee in the first game. Now he's going to silver trophy and a check for $50,000 will soon be awarded here. We're in our second match. 2 games to go. Mark Baker
To take the lead with a strike.
Baker getting the supreme test here in the finals of the Firestone and accepting it. In fact, following this game, it'll be our tip of the week. Bo Burden will, in the 5th part of his series, tell you how to handle pressure.
Good tip, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Baker leads by 2. The golden boy of professional bowling can take a 12-pin lead with a turkey. He really has to muscle it down. Use that straight.
All right, the free spirit in Garden Grove freewheels it in.
Just drives them all in the pit. When Baker can get his ball in the pocket, there's nobody in bowling can strike any better. And boy, look at the look of confidence on his face now. He knows he threw it well. Let's see how Genalo reacts. Nothing has gone right for him, and he still trails by 12 pins.
Come on, ball.
When he needed it, a 10-pin.
How disappointing. He could have put Baker away in the early part of the match. He started strike, solid 10, solid 10. Now watch him. He's holding that follow through. He knows that ball's solid. Give me some help. Not to be, but the match is not over. Conversion here in the 8th frame. Genalo would trail by 13 pins.
Put some extra form on that shot to make sure. Don Genalo, winner of 5 titles in 5 years. Member of the PBA.
Genalo, an excellent clutch player, as evidenced by the way he won his 4 titles by throwing doubles in the 10th and 11th frames. The possibilities for Genalo are this. He's going at a 195 pace, but he has a potential 215 with 4 strikes. Baker going at a 208 pace.
Yeah, that's it. Good shot. Way to go.
Oh, my goodness. 4, 6, 7 at the least opportune time in the whole match. Genalo lets up slightly on the ball. He's actually got to go for it now. Just throw as hard as he can at the 4-7.
Disaster for Don Genalo, who won the first game 224 to 210, and Harry Golden, our tournament director all these years, a very efficient man. A request by Baker for a re-rack on the right lane. He's doing a pretty good selling job, and Harry is talking back pleasantly.
Once again, each player is allowed 3 re-racks, and most of the time you don't see them because they take them while we're either in a commercial message, and here Baker just didn't like the way they were set. This is the critical ball for Mark Baker. He can close the door on Don Genalo with a strike in the 9th.
Here's one of the 2 men in our field of 5 that are trying to win the Firestone, you know, for the first time. And it's Del Warren is the other, who is in his very first Firestone. Mark's in his 2nd, 22nd, 2 years ago. He looks ready to accept the challenge of Warren and our tournament leader, Marshall Holman. Just blowing them off the deck is Mark Baker, the 25-year-old from Garden Grove, California. He is